So, hello everyone. I just wanted to speak with everyone about some concerns, some issues, some things that are going on in our economy that people seem to feel that are okay or something we should just brush over. Something we should just pretend like never happened or hasn't taken place, or maybe that we're not worthy enough, or we had problems, or we had these issues that made us feel like we're not worthy or done anything right or correct. I mean, for me, I'm looking at all the things, and I have somebody saying that they want to get rid of these people in Thief River Falls, and for all I know, it could be me. But stop it. That was not a clapping moment. You see, we're looking at this COVID-19. And I can honestly tell you, do I agree with everything? No. Whoever does agree with everything. But something does have to be done. And I'm glad that you guys are allowing me to speak on my behalf. And no, I don't agree with everything everyone says, or if they're putting out their own content and want to speak on it. No, that's not necessarily the way I feel too. It's just I allow them to address it the way they think they should. And, we're not always going to get it right. But at least have a corrective form or format that can be tried or utilized to help make changes. Do not come out here and say that there's a billion problems and don't have one solution. We are living in a society that has so many bigots and critics that hate all day but don't have anything good to build up. Well, let me tell you, if you're saying society is getting better for a young male, we used to say young black male, but you know what? A young male, period. Or female. Because those families that have been working together all those time are being broken up because you know why? We're saying we won't help a mother and father, but we'll help a single woman. You know why? Because they might have their way. They might get their chance, or, start something in that it takes a family or a village to raise a home. Community. I think that was really taken out of context. That context was supposed to mean that we as a people look out for one another, like the neighborhood watch we used to have. Like the people that would tell us that we could do something or change something or become some type of value to our community, to our people. What happened to the days when we used to just go out and play jailbreak? Or have a good time? We weren't practicing for jail. That was not the sense of it. We were practicing camaraderie. That e pluribus unum we've been talking about. From one come many. And from one comes many is not supposed to be a bad thing. It's like when you ball up your fist. Are you stronger with your fist closed, or are you stronger with your hands out? They said they shouldn't be giving us a handout. I said, how can it be a handout when it's not by choice you want to shut down something? And tell them they're forced to live there, reside there, and you know what? They shouldn't have opportunity while you want to shut the government down? Now that's a serious issue. They said there's not that much stipulations. We're talking about one $1,200 payment. How many people we got in America? That still didn't add up to $1 trillion. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Now we have this bailout, right? If you want to bail something out, let's start dropping some of these medical bills that you're putting on us as people. Let's start dropping some of these taxations that are happening on items that it should not even be on. These are real situations, people. And I know that this has not been easy, and this has not always made us feel like things could change or make us feel better as a society. But honestly, these are the things that are happening in our world today. I'm not saying that you gotta agree. Nope. I'm not. Just a moment. I want to speak on the real facts. I want to speak on how we are enslaving our own young men and women into a society because we are not protecting families, which in another mindset is, putting those children back into that same system. Because they said, that's what I went through. And how did you fare through those issues and through those situations that you're so hard over here saying how you walked up the hill for 3 miles and down the other way in the snow? Why would you put the next generation through the same? We're supposed to be getting better, not staying there. I know some people aren't going to agree with me today, and that's okay. Listen, we need to speak about gender equality. Okay? Gender equality has been broadly, briefly touched on to a little piece. And so far it has been how women haven't been being treated as equals. And I think we got a lot of that wrong. Because we have our judicial system, our city government, empowering the women for a mistake that's supposed to be a mistake. Yes, a mistake happened. Whether it was a fight, whether it was an argument, whether they just didn't work. But should he be forced to pay more than they can in an economy where inflation's already kicking our butt? You can't go to higher education. You know why? Because there's not job security in so many of those jobs that you are supposed to be going to school for. Today we have more situations where people are getting thrown in jail, taken out of their homes, away from their families, away from their kids. And if you feel like these aren't situations, then I would ask you to open your eyes, America. Open your eyes, because COVID-19 is only a start of something. Because you know what? Realistically, we have so many things out here killing people. And yet now everything that's happening, if they're dying, it's COVID-19. It don't matter what they die from. It could have been a toothache. But guess what? That COVID-19 did it. I'm not asking you to believe me. But they're all trying to shut down and shove blame in all these other areas. But listen, the situations and the facts all still remain the same. It has followed through time and time and time again. Now, we know that there's bugs that are put out to try and get the older society out. And that has not been us. You know why? Because we're learning from the elders. The elders got to speak up so we can fight this. We don't know what you're seeing in the 50s and 60s and 70s. So if you don't speak, we're blinded. We can only do what you empower us and hope and fight for us to be able to do. And I'm sorry, but it doesn't always mean age makes wisdom. Situational basis and handled in a good tolerance. Being able to be slow to speak and, you know what? Sometimes quick to listen. But at other times, knowing how to address a certain situation. Know that you're not always right. Know that you go through some storms. You go through some situations. But guess what? You're still human. So treat your fellow man, your lady, with dignity, respect. We shouldn't be acting crazy and calling them out their names. And I know we do that in music. And I am a musician and an artist. And people say, why would we listen to him? He ain't no politician. Why? You don't have to. But I still have a family. I still have hopes. I still have dreams. I still have inspirations. See, you thought about everything else around the corner, but not the things that were so steadfast in your face. That dang, they may seem like they're so different, but you know what? They're really not. They might have a talent that's maybe I'm a carpenter. Dang it, I can't build worth a damn. But you know what I can do? I can direct it. I can give you the idea, the image inside of my mind and put it to place. That's like that doctor who's expected to pick up that instrument and deliver and do the job they need to do. Now, we're talking about medical in situations that are drastically getting out of control. Medical is drastically getting out of control. And I hear so many people tell me that Obamacare was terrible and it's destroying the economy. Well, Obama's not in office. We are under Humana. At least let's stick to what we're supposed to know. And if you don't know that, then why are you even talking? I don't mean to get personal. I'm just stating, and this isn't against the Trump administration. This isn't against the Green Party, Blue Party, Red Party. It's about people. And if you're telling me it's easier for families to get help today than it was just 4 years ago, I would tell you you are a lunatic. I had bills that they wouldn't even cover under the medical program. Please stop. I don't want to say it was because of the color of my skin, but you know. And I don't mean to pull race cards because you know why? Because I don't think of myself as a bigot. I think of myself as when I get that opportune moment, am I going to make the best of it? Am I going to take that chance and kick open that door? Am I going to deliver the best way I can for me, for my family, for the people who trust in what I'm going to do, in my words, in my hope, and my inspirations? Listen, too many times we say, I can't go this way because red doesn't agree with that. Or blue doesn't agree with that. I challenge you to say, bump parties. Tell me why you stand for this. Tell me why my elementary kids do not have bus rides to school, but the middle school kids who should and could go walking, but we have the little kids who need parent supervision the whole time, don't have buses. But we need to take out more for education. So we got these kids all going on these IEP plans, right? Which IEP means more funding for the schools and situations. And I'm saying, okay, well, let me see your IEP. Some schools had great ones. They outlined everything. Others, shoot, you were lucky to get a sentence. So these are situations and real issues we face. It might have rubbed some people the wrong way. Oh. This is fact checking. We're saying that we want to protect our city, to protect our states, to protect our homes. Where's our quarantine site? Anybody know? Is it in Bismarck? Jamestown? Grand Forks? But we have all these new cases popping up, right? What was it, 11 now or something like that? 18? Okay. How many people here died from the flu just last year? In the state. How about in the last month? It was more than 18. But are those all corona now? Are those all the coronavirus now? Because I don't got time for every new president that comes in that they're shutting down our government. They shut it down on Barack Obama in his second term re-election. They shut it down because they didn't want to follow him. They didn't think he could put together a budget plan. Well, didn't the same thing happen to Trump? And then now it's happening again. This time it's healthcare, so there was more of a reason he couldn't go executive order and take over. Now, I'm not arguing if you are older and you feel like you need to stay home, then stay home. And the problem is we have this situation of a right to hire and fire state. If you don't know about the right to hire and fire, meaning that I do not even have to tell you why I'm firing you. No reason, no explanation, you're just fired. So if they don't come to work and there's an epidemic, pandemic, whatever you would like to call it, and you don't think that they have the best choice to make for themselves, their families, and their homes? What about firefighters who put their lives on the line right now? Even the ones that they hate, the Popo. Teachers, well, they're at home now. Teachers are at home now. And I would just like to ask, because I don't know, I didn't look it up, but I would like to hear it. What kind of situation are we having with the schools right now being over webcast? Are the students doing well? Are they doing better? Are we trying homeschooling for some reason, or? Because right now, we have families looking for jobs, and they're saying $1,200 was like a big chunk of change that they could give. But they turn around and give to the big companies all of these bailouts. I was listening to the governor of South Carolina, and they were talking about how people today in the economy we live in are facing turmoils of BMW being closed. I looked around for a second because, all I thought about was, does BMW, or is it even from America? So you're talking about car parts that we paid for to come from overseas. That's the company we should bail out in the whole state of South Carolina. These are crazy moments. These are things that we all address, we talk about, we speak on, and guess what? We still see the same effects. America, we need to stop letting them give us generic answers about, well, we're going to have to try and make changes on that. That's not an answer. That's another statement. We need to start making the politicians give us answers to these solutions and how they're going to seek them. Why are our streets still torn up and we're spending millions and millions and millions of tax dollars? Why do we have so many products from everywhere else when we have some of the best creative minds that went to school, that graduated high school? I mean, come on. Let's at least give them a shot out the door. Entry-level positions to put more jobs in our market. Okay? We have construction workers that are off for 9 months of the year that they can't do their craft. Why are we not using the dome? Minneapolis uses the dome. Why can't we build our infrastructures on the ground using the dome, get the bottom infrastructure up, and then we build up? At least they're not in the cold the whole time. That will keep down on costs of medical for them being sick or out, leave time. These are issues that we just got to think through. We just got to take time to figure out what's going to work best. But you know what? It's been too long that we keep putting it off and saying this is good enough. This is good enough. And you know what? That's all it is. We have too many children going without parents all day because both parents are having to work. Do I think wages should go up? Yes. Inflation has been kicking our butts. And that is becoming a situation. Sorry, everybody. I was having to put something on to eat. You know what I mean? That microwave worked. We were without a stove, These situations really happen. And you know what? To know that people have lived under the poverty line with no food but still had to feed their families. And you know what politicians had the audacity to say? They said, well, we didn't tell them to have kids. That was a great answer. That you told them that they shouldn't have kids. Because, why? People who have millions in their pockets aren't willing to open it up for the people that building your pockets? That's kind of crazy. You know, it says in order to make money, you got to spend money. In order to make money, you got to spend money. And that's one thing I can say. They're like, oh, you ain't bankrupt. Oh, these situations happen. You know what? We go through cycles of life. But you know what? If you're telling me that people don't deserve that bailout at some point in time, if I got a graduate who just graduated college, why don't they deserve a bailout? We're giving it to the people who come over here all the way from overseas, and we give them cars for free. But we won't take care of our own. We're making our people pay triple the wages to go to higher education, secondary education, when we should be putting those taxations on these people that are coming from overseas. Because you know what? They're not homegrown. Because you know what? They didn't have the same hardships as they're seeing from overseas. Our forefathers didn't get the free hand-me-outs. We worked the trenches just like y'all. But why is it that I am a writer also? And I have never seen so much piracy in my life until these last 4 years. People taking and ripping and stealing. It's not what kind of work you did or what you put in. That's plagiarism if you don't give them accreditation for what they did. If you do not pay them, you do not own the rights to their content. All over YouTube, you see these people saying content ID, trying to steal their merchandise, their product. That is incorrect format. The writer owns the right to the music. The beat maker owns the right to the production. Okay? Two different things. Without the words, you do not have any value to it. You have a beat, a sound. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give up your beat. It means that you need to call and say, what can we work out? They liked your beat. They liked your music. You need to learn how to affiliate yourself. Don't steal all what they did. People can't give you their best if you take everything they ever tried to earn. How can you ask them to trust you? How can you ask for their support and their families didn't get to eat because you stole everything? These are changes that aren't going to happen overnight, but they are changes that need to be addressed. And whether we think it's the elders, the middle class, the youth, it's got to start as a whole. In our communities, in our towns. We need to stop putting up gas stations and start putting up more places to do grocery shopping so that the parts of the cities aren't segregated to eat in junk food and unhealthy ways of living. We have two. That's a monopoly. We used to have Kmart. They shut that down for what reasoning, I don't know. But now we're looking at this monopoly here with Walmart and Walmart and everything else going to Fargo. I think Fargo's the new state capital. Because dang. I mean, I think that we need to stand up for our homes and our villages and our people. These outsiders are coming in and telling us they're going to run our city. Our place where our children grew up, where we grew up, where we went to school, where we put our blood, sweat, and tears in. So I don't know where you stand, but I would love to hear your rebuttal. Please tell me how you feel about this situation. Please tell me if you didn't understand. Please tell me if you disagree. Please tell me if you thought I was being too abrupt or mean about the scenario. Because honestly, I think that us as Americans, as people who had to build and fight for this, have every right to speak out on this situation right now. You know, I met some of the most beautiful people ever lately, and I can't say that none of them have had the perfect life. No silver spoons. They worked for everything. And you know what? Whether their story was the little girl who had these problems, whether it was the guy who was getting beat up or bullied in school, these are changes that are very simple to make. But instead, we turn our eyes, we turn our cheeks. But those are the ones they're saying are the great leaders. You can't lead if you have a third of your people walking home in tears every night. That's not a leader. That's a tyrant. If I feel more used and abused than the last time I ever walked in here, I could never stay here. Because you don't care. You don't care about my home, my family, my people. So why should I put my blood, sweat, and tears into your business? If I didn't have a raise in 2 years, are you keeping up with inflation? Why would I stay with your company? If you don't ask me when I come in your door, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? How's your family? How's the wife? How's the kids? Why would I address you other than, hi boss, bye boss? What type of environment are we creating for our people? Shit, let's start it with the city and see if something changes. Now, we've been saying our city's been having problems and we're closing down businesses left and right. Scenario based, let me touch on it. See, I don't mean to be preaching, but I got some things to say because these politicians are thinking because they got slick mouths, they answered all the questions. Well, let me put the questions out there for you. So you really have to answer some things and not vague. I'm using open-ended questions. So you have to give more than 3 words. Okay. We have oil here. And yet, we have people that can't get help with food. I'm sorry. We're supplying oil and sending it over to, that crude oil we're pumping out. Western North Dakota. The tribes, hold on. The tribes already get the casinos. They're getting the oil too now, but hold on. Us as a state, we pay for that too. Why are we not getting better education? Why is it that some kids didn't even get to bring home their own book? But you're telling me we're one of the richest in states in oil and we cannot even afford to have our kids go home with books? We can't pay for bus drivers? But you want to be the first one to knock on the door with the CPS and talk about how we ain't doing our jobs right. All right, now go sit down. And that's the crazy thing about it. You don't even got one kid. Why are you talking? You have no clue what it's like to look after another life plus your own. Have to care what they eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See, when you're done with your school time because you had 5 people helping you and they come home, you all they got. But you're acting like it's just the parents' fault. No, you told them to split up. You told them that the other parent was not needed, will help you. But what did you do? You just enslaved a generation of that male family because you took that and made it a first generation family again. What did I mean by first generation family? I meant that when you took them to that first generation, they're not going to be able to go to college. They owe too much. So you got that kid at 18. I'm sorry, bro. We're going to take you out because we're going to arrest you. And after we arrest you, we're going to belittle you. We're going to send you the bill and let you know we're going to come back again and again and again. When you know the bill that you're even giving for that kid, shit, 2 parents together ain't putting no $1,200 on one kid. Stop it. We don't even have jobs that pay that much in this industry unless you're working in manufacturing. And, how much does it cost for one article of clothing? If it costs $30, right? And each person on retail is getting paid, I don't know, $10. They don't keep nobody at the registers. So that one article of clothing paid an hour's salary for 3 people. Think about it on that mindset. How much merchandise went out of there? Did they get some food? How about a drink when they came to the counter? Did they get that Mountain Dew? How about that bag of chips? Did that kid kick his feet for some candy or a toy? I'm just saying, wake up and let's start addressing them and making the politicians speak about the real issues. Now, if we're going to have to stay at home in quarantine, how do we compensate these Americans? $1,200 for a family of 2. See, I said a family of 2. Nobody even know what that meant. That meant a married couple, let's just say boyfriend and girlfriend. $1,200 couldn't even support them. Rent just took that away alone. A 1-bedroom apartment was $750. For a 1-bedroom apartment, $750. Think about that. Most jobs are paying like $12 an hour right now, right? Here. About $12 an hour. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like this does not matter, but we're in a campaign run right now, and they are feeling like this is okay for how things are going. They offered $1,200 and said, yeah, that was a good job. They said we shouldn't be able to do government payouts. Hold on. Now, this state should be the last one talking about we even need a bailout. We have more dollars in this state than any other state in the country. And we're talking about per capita at least. We have more millionaires in this state than any other state per capita. And you're telling me, oh, we got to pay them $1,200? Really? I understand why everybody said they weren't paying taxes this year. Because business owners decided to say, hey, we're not going to take out federal or state taxes. Why? Because they didn't want to pay them unemployment. They didn't want to pay them 60% of their wages because they knew before this was going to hit. So tell me again that this ain't a hoax. Oh yeah, I'm going to collect that $1,200. You dang right. You dang right. But after that too, I'm going to say, but how much did they get? And how come you didn't pay for federal and state income taxes? I didn't put a 4 on my W-4. I did not put a 4. Which would be exempt. But that's what they're trying to make us, America. Because they knew this epidemic was coming and prepared ahead of time. Now tell me how I ain't pissed off. Now you tell me that's not a hoax. Please explain it better. And you tell me if that's a lie. And you tell me if that wasn't happening all around the country where people did not have federal or state tax withholdings on their W-2s. Now you know they got to charge you how much? 21% for a single male, female? If you got dependents, it can be anywhere from 9 to 15, 16%. But if you're taking a quarter of wages and you're trying to tell me you didn't take out any federal withholdings or state withholdings, I would tell you you're a dang lie. Please don't insult our intelligence. Now, I'm going to back up. I would like y'all to take some time and really think about some of these issues. If you have any questions, if you got some things that you would like me to address, even if you like me, you don't like me, but you would like to hear my opinion, please throw it out there. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you're feeling about these situations because this is bigger than just COVID-19, even though they want to put all the attention on that. So we really don't get to elect on the big problems and bigger issues that are happening behind closed doors. That's not just the president. No, that's the House of Representatives too. That's the Senate. That's the congressmen. That's the mayors. We need to look at it as a whole. No more short answers. Thank y'all for your time. Hey, I appreciate you. Love y'all. Y'all stay safe. Priority number one. Stay safe. Take care of your families. I'm out.